Hi guys, my name's Maria. I am one of the chefs and the owner of Chato. Today we'll be cooking with Anna in our workshop on how to make an empanada. Take it away.
Hi guys, I'm Anna. Let's make an empanada.
Okay guys, let's start off with from our kit with the dough. So you'll be getting about 350 grams of plain flour, 350 for the dough, and there's about 20 to 30 2 tablespoons for sprinkling. You will also get the olive oil measured, and you will also be getting a beer. That is, part of it is for the dough and part of it is for you to enjoy it whilst you're making it. We'll only be using a third of the beer. Now, for the actual ingredients inside, we'll be giving you some lacón or panceta, which is already been diced. It's about 100 odd grams. Chorizo, and the chorizo is actually just the mince, which has already been marinated, so it's actually not the whole chorizo. And you'll also be getting some pisto. The pisto is a concoction that we make here with some tomato, veggies. So if you are allergic to anything in particular, please let us know, because it does. This one that we've got has got capsicum, zucchini, eggplant. Okay, items that you will need. You will need salt. You will need, if you want, some spoons for measuring. You will also need a frying pan. That's to make the inside of the empanada, a bowl for mixing the dough, and also a pan or baking dish to bake the empanada in. What we're using today is a 22 centimeter flute pan with a loose base. It's much easier to take the empanada out. Also a measuring jug if you wish. Okay, let's start. Okay guys, just opening the beer. Measure about 110 mils. And from the rest of the beer is for you to enjoy, or your partner to enjoy, or your wife, your husband, whoever it is. You deserve it. She's adding the olive oil. That will be measured for you as we showed you before. Add the salt. So everything's added, all the liquid. It's about a little teaspoon there. As we know, salt is very personal. The flour is then placed in the bowl. As I said, get a little bit of the flour to the side so you can dust. This one here is got exactly 330. We will give you about 350, 360. And you make a little well in the center of the flour, and you add the liquids to the center, and you just start mixing. So everything's in there, and all you have to do now is have patience and mix. Okay guys, roughly when it's all nicely mixed, as you can see at the moment, you can take it out of the bowl, sprinkle, as I said, with those extra 20-30 grams that we will be giving you, and keep kneading. So it's not easy, but just make sure that it's nice, smooth and shiny. Be persistent. It really is worth the pastry, I think. It's a very easy pastry. It's hard to get wrong. You can use it to do any other form of pie, I guess, because it's a little bit flaky, and it's got many, many uses. Okay, now if you do by any chance find that it is a little bit hard, you can add, if you wish, a little bit more beer or a little bit more olive oil. I would prefer for you to add a little bit more beer rather than the olive oil, so it's not as oily. And once it's smooth, we'll let it rest for a bit. Okay, once it's smooth, return it back to the bowl, and we need to let it rest. It doesn't have to be a warm place, but please do not put it in the fridge. It hardens too much. So just as it is, you can cover it with a tea towel if you want, and just set it aside, let it rest. And whilst it's resting, we'll be doing your filling. All right, guys, in an iron pan, we love cooking with iron, or any other pan you have is fine. A little bit of the olive oil, approximately, let's say 2 tablespoons. And to that, once the oil is hot, you add the lacón or panceta, and you're going to just slowly fry that off a little bit. Okay, so just slowly cook the bacon so it can, or lacón as I said, panceta, so it can release a little bit of the beautiful juices and the little bit of fat that it has in it, flavors. Okay, so you can see the panceta is, or lacón, it's already bubbling away. It's released some of its oils. That's when you start putting in the chorizo. As I mentioned before, the chorizo is actually the filling for the chorizo. It has not been turned into a sausage in a casing yet. And the reason we've done this, it's much better to add as is to the empanada as a filling rather than to add it in chunks. That way it can get nicely right through with all the veggies and ingredients. So again, mix well the lacón and the chorizo until the chorizo is almost cooked. You don't want it fully cooked, but till it's almost cooked. Okay, as you can see, we've pretty much well mixed the chorizo and the lacón. Everything's not quite cooked yet, and we've done everything on high flame so it doesn't bubble away. We actually want to sear it and seal everything. And that's when we add the pesto. As I said, this pesto has tomato, capsicum, zucchini, eggplant. Hang on, there we go. Bit of onion, bit of garlic, because I love my garlic, what can I say? And that's when you mix everything in. And at this point, if you want, whilst you're mixing it, because all the veggies are cooked, you can turn down the flame and just make it, and just let it, all the flavours seep in together. Okay, at this point you leave it and you just cook it for another 5 odd minutes, and then you let it sit and relax. And whilst it's resting, because it's had a tough time, I like saying that food has a tough time whilst we throw it about, that's when you start stretching out the dough. Okay guys, so the dough has actually rested for, this one's actually rested for about 40 minutes. Cut it in half, because maybe even a little bit less than half, because you're going to need a top base and a bottom base, and of course the top base you'll need a little bit less than for the top. The top will need a little bit less than the bottom. Stretch it out as much as you can with your hands. Sprinkle a little bit of flour. As you can see, it's not much flour that we need, because we really do want it to grip into that bench so you can stretch it out. Rolling pin, dust the rolling pin a bit. If you've got a marble rolling pin, you won't need to dust it, and lucky you that you have one. Now this empanada is a traditional Spanish empanada. The dough, the filling is, you can put whatever you want. We're trying to make a nice kind of mix between a Galician classic. As I said, the filling, you can make it with whatever you want. You can put, my mum's favourite, for example, is tuna and pesto. My favourite is with scallops. And Anna's favourite is, what's your favourite, Anna?
Chorizo.
Chorizo, there you go. That's chorizo forever, as she said. That's why we're making it chorizo. Okay, once it's stretched enough, make sure that it actually fits what you've stretched to your pan. And that's when you lift it. If you've noticed, we've put some baking paper at the bottom. You don't have to do that. As I said, the mix has olive oil, so it shouldn't stick. Okay, cut the over edges with some scissors. You're still going to need a little bit of an edge. and we shall show you why. It doesn't have to go right up to the edge because empanadas in Spain are very, very thin. We're doing a round one, but normally they're actually a square and they're served by the slice, as probably pizza is in Italy, I guess. So this is our by the slice street food. We're doing a round one just cause, but as I said, we can do they're normally large square, extremely thin, so the pastry can be crisp, and you just get enough pastry and enough filling so neither overpowers the other. All right, the filling's ready. It's cooled down a bit. Spread it around. There we go. All right, and time to put the top on. Okay, as I said, with the lid, same thing. Stretch it as thinly as possible. This part will be easier because it is a smaller amount of dough. And once it's all stretched, just need to place it on top. Okay, same as with the base. With the top, make sure that it's big enough to cover the top. Okay, basically just put the dough on top. You will be cutting whatever excess there is. And then to join it up, what you'll be doing is pinching both doughs together. You roll them over. What we will be doing, and you can stretch, as you can see, you can stretch the pastry. It won't break on you. It's a very forgiving pastry. It's a very easy pastry, very manageable pastry. So you do that to the whole of the empanada. Doesn't matter if some of the sauce or the oil is over. I think it gives it flavour, hey? Much better, Anna. Much better, like she says. Much juicier. We're going to brush a beaten egg over the top. Doesn't do anything other than makes it really nice and shiny. I guess it also seals it. You don't have to do it. If you don't eat egg, that's fine. You can put some oil on it. You can leave it as is. It doesn't really require it. It just won't be as shiny as it would with the egg wash on top. And then finally, as you would with any pie, is you make some holes in it. So puncture it, knife, a fork, and last but not least, it goes into the oven. Okay guys, as the final process, all we have to do is put it in an oven. We've got our oven at 180 degrees. Put it in for 40 minutes and we'll check it. Okay guys, so the 40 minutes is over and let's see what happens. Okay Anna, go ahead, show them your empanada. Okay, so there's the empanada. Beautiful, plenty of food. There's at least food there for, let's say, 6 people with a nice salad on the side and fairly healthy.